In this lesson, we will review the menu management page, as well as the options available to us for working with existing menus. Menu management is accessed under Manage, Structure, Menus. We'll head over there now. And you can remember this because you know that menus are your navigation that create your site structure. So finding it under the Structure menu makes a lot of sense. On this page, we can see a list of all of the menus that exist on our site, and we can make changes to those particular menus. So here we're seeing a table that lists the titles of all of the menus that came out of the box with our Drupal installation, as well as a description of each of those menus and operations that allow us to edit the menu or add a link to those menus. So here I can add a link to the administration menu if I would like to. Let's go ahead and edit the main navigation menu. By clicking on Edit, we can now change the title, which is what we see as administrators when we're looking at the menu list, and we can change the summary, which is the description that we see that tells us a little bit about the menu. So these are extremely helpful, and it's a good idea for you to put information in here that makes a lot of sense. Because if you come back to this site a year after you've developed it, you might not remember exactly why you made certain choices. If you have multilingual enabled, you can also choose what language the menu is going to display in. So if, for example, you do have a Chinese language audience, you can have a menu that's specifically for your Chinese speaking viewers that doesn't display for the English viewers. On this screen, you also see all of the links that have been added to this menu. There are 3 items at the top level and then 2 items under Why Tasty Cakes. Each of these menu links also has operations associated with it, including an edit link and a delete link. Let's just head over to the site where we're viewing it as the site and not in the administrative interface. And I'm going to point out underneath the site title, there's the main menu there that says About, Home, and Why Tasty Cakes. This perfectly matches with the main navigation, which is the menu that we're looking at right now. So let's say that we want to add a link to this particular menu. We can use the big blue button at the top here that says Add Link. And in this case, our link can be either external or internal. External means that the link is going outside of the site, whereas internal means that it's going to a page within the site that we're in right now. But first, I'm going to start with the title, which is what the user will see. So in this case, we're going to link to an external site for the Celiac Disease Foundation. So the title will be Celiac Disease Foundation. The link now is an external link. If we wanted it to be an internal link, we could actually type in the title of the page that we wanted to go to so that we wouldn't have to remember the URL. So if I start typing in celiac, it's going to look for all of the content on the site that has the letters CEL in the title and give me some options. So I can use this to quickly set that as my link for this particular link in the menu, which is really helpful because then I don't need to remember a URL. But in this case, I want to link outside of the site. So I'm going to put in the full URL, including the HTTP. I'm a big fan of copy and paste for things like this. So typically what I would do is go to that site, make sure that I have the proper URL, copy that URL, and then paste it into this field. So I'm going to open a new tab and actually go ahead and do that just to be sure. So this is the right URL. It found the site. I'm going to copy that URL and then paste it here. Scrolling down a little bit, enabled determines whether or not that link is actually going to be visible in your menu. This may not make sense right now that you might want to have something enabled or not, but once you get into building your site, you may find at times that you actually want to add something to a menu, but you don't want it to display. There are a couple of reasons why you might not want it to display. Perhaps you actually aren't ready for the public to access that content yet. Another reason that you might not want a link to display in the menu is that you might be using your menu system for something else that is structurally orienting your content, such as your breadcrumbs. So you might want the breadcrumb structure to reflect a very specific menu structure, but you may not want the item to actually be in the menu itself. We're going to skip the other settings for now and drop down to Parent Link, which is currently set to Main Navigation. This helps you determine what menu this item displays in And it also enables you to either set the item to be at the top level or to be underneath another item within that menu. So for example, here, a celiac story and a nursing mom story are under Why Tasty Cakes. But for now, I'm going to have this be part of the top level navigation so that we can see immediate changes. And then I will go ahead and save this menu item. Now if I scroll down in this and see the links, we'll notice that the item that I just created, Celiac Disease Foundation, is available in this list. And if I head over to Safari, where I'm not authenticated, and reload, you'll see that the Celiac Disease Foundation link is now part of my top level navigation. Unpublished pages will never show in the menu until they are published. This helps prevent users from accidentally landing on content that they shouldn't see. The other thing that's really great about Drupal and Drupal's menu system is that links to content to which the user does not have permission to access will not display. So if you have a piece of content or a view that should only be accessed by administrative users, it won't display in the menu if the user is not authenticated as an administrative user, which is very helpful for creating quick links for different types of users without having a menu system that's completely flooded with far too many links for the user to navigate through. Let's head back to the page where we're managing this particular menu. And I want to point out that there's a very familiar element here that you've seen before in the block management, which are these little grabby handles next to each title. These grabby handles allow you to reorder your menu items. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I want Celiac Disease Foundation to be the last link in the list, and I want Home to be the first link. You'll notice the yellow box behind the Home link and the star next to Home and Celiac Disease Foundation. This means that these changes have not yet been saved, and so if I navigate away from this page right now without saving them, these changes will not be stored, and therefore my work might be lost if I had intended to keep them. So I'm going to go ahead and save these changes. Now if we head over to Safari, we can reload that page and we can see these changes instantly. So now our menu order makes more sense based on the navigation that we're trying to create. To review, you can manage your menu items, add new ones, and set how they display and change the name of your menus from the menu management page. You can also use this page to add new menus, which we're going to do in the next lesson.